I saw my stepmom's Reddit account and found out she hates me. I'm really pissed off and need to vent. I even cried reading the things she said, and I don't know what to do. I don't need any advice. Just want to get this off my chest. My dad's been married to my stepmom for 5 years. He and my mom divorced when my younger brother was 2. There's no drama between them, and they've had great co-parenting ever since. I've got a 17-year-old sister, Ava, a 16-year-old brother, and I'm 25. My dad and stepmom also have a 3-year-old son together. I found my stepmom's Reddit account totally by accident. I only come home on weekends because I'm in the police academy during the week, and I let her use my computer while I'm away. She forgot to log out of her email, and I wasn't planning on looking at it, but the sheer number of notifications from step-parent subreddits caught my attention. Curiosity got the best of me. I clicked on one of her recent posts and was shocked. She was talking about my life, trashing my decisions, and even making up lies to get sympathy from strangers. She posted about how happy she feels when my siblings and I aren't at home. Ava adores her, but she posted comments about how she can't wait until we turn 18 and move out because she only wants to live with her real family, meaning my dad and her son. It's clear she doesn't think of us as family at all. She wrote that it's perfectly okay to not love your stepchildren because they're not real family. She even complained about my dad and brother having sleepovers, where they just watch a series together and fall asleep in the playroom. She hates hearing the laughter and says she's counting down the days until we're all gone. The part that hurt the most was finding out she despises learning sign language for my sister, Ava. Ava has been so patient and always thought that my stepmom was just struggling to learn it. But now I know she never really tried and even found it stupid to learn how to communicate with her. Ava has always excused her struggles and believed it was her fault when stepmom didn't understand her. Turns out my stepmom just doesn't care. What disgusts me the most is her jealousy over the time my dad spends with us. She wrote some sick stuff about me and Ava being too clingy with my dad and even sexualized my relationship with him. I take naps with my dad sometimes, hugging him, and she made that out to be some disgusting thing. He is my father. What kind of person sees something sexual in that? I've got screenshots of everything, including video proof that it's her account. But I don't want my siblings to find out before I talk to them. I know how this kind of post can blow up and end up on TikTok or some other site, so I deleted the post for now to prevent it from spreading. Thankfully, my siblings don't use Reddit or watch that kind of content, so they haven't seen it. I'm planning to repost once I've talked to my family. I just hope the people on Reddit can keep it under wraps for now, though I doubt they will. Being a stepmom is hard, yeah, sure. There's a huge difference between saying it's stressful and I hate when my stepdaughter hugs her dad because I think she's trying to fuck him. She even said that learning sign language is unnecessary because once Ava turns 18, she won't have to see her again. She called it a waste of time because Ava can read lips. How heartless can you be? People were agreeing with her too, saying it's not normal to hug my dad or that it's weird for me to nap with him. Sorry that my family actually loves each other and doesn't see affection as something perverted. Update asterisk, I haven't talked to my dad yet, but I did talk to my mom and siblings. I went to my mom's house instead of staying with a friend like I told my dad. I showed my mom everything, translating the posts and comments for her since she doesn't use Reddit. She was furious. I explained to her that SM, stepmom, meant stepmom, and BM, biological mom, meant biological mom. And she was even more upset to see how SM lied about her in the posts. My mom and stepmom have always had a cordial relationship, so these lies were just insane. In her posts, SM painted my mom as some kind of problem, and people online told her to move away with her real family. Next, we told my brother. He was upset, but he also said he's noticed SM ignoring Ava before. He said it was weird that she still hadn't learned sign language after all these years, especially since we all use it at home. Even my dad offered to pay for SM to take classes, but she claimed she didn't have time. My brother also said SM refuses to let him take care of our half-brother, the toddler, which I've experienced too. But oddly, she does let Ava babysit him sometimes. She's never treated my brother badly, but he found her behavior suspicious. When we told Ava, she was the most hurt. She cried, especially after hearing the horrible comments SM made about me, calling me a whore for wearing a bikini at the pool. It's ironic how the things said about her hurt me, and the things said about me hurt her. Ava noticed something I didn't. Almost all of SM's posts were about me and her. She didn't say much about our brother, except to complain about his sleepovers and late nights out with friends. But she criticized Ava's and my clothes, made up lies about my life, and constantly expressed jealousy over how close we are to our dad. Ava thinks SM has some kind of mental issue or deep-seated jealousy. The worst part for Ava was realizing that SM was never interested in learning sign language. Ava's worked so hard to help her, and every time SM ignored her, Ava blamed herself. Now we know SM never cared. We all agreed to confront SM and tell our dad. I went ahead and spoke to SM first, telling her that I'd seen her Reddit account and that we were going to talk to Dad. She tried to defend herself, saying it was just a place to vent. I told her that venting is one thing, but spreading lies and hate online is something else. She locked herself in her room and refused to talk to me anymore. Once we all sat down with Dad, I showed him the posts. He was shocked. He couldn't believe SM had been hiding all these feelings for years. He told her that if she had issues with us, she should have spoken up instead of turning to Reddit. He was disgusted by the way she sexualized my relationship with him and how happy she seemed whenever Ava was in the hospital and not around. He told her she knew he had kids when they got married and that he'd never abandon us. SM just kept defending herself, saying she needed a place to vent. My dad told her that venting is not the same as hating your stepchildren and lying about them. My mom told my dad she wouldn't allow Ava and my brother to be around someone like that anymore. In the end, my dad told SM he couldn't trust her anymore and that their marriage was over. He's staying at my mom's place for now, but he'll still see my half-brother every day. SM just kept defending her actions, saying it was all justified because being a stepmom is hard. Nothing went the way I expected. I thought maybe she'd apologize or realize what she did was wrong, but she didn't. She sees herself as the victim, and I guess she'll never change. Hey, it's been a while since I posted an update, and honestly, I kind of forgot. Not too much has happened, but I wanted to check in for those of you who were concerned. My little brother Matt has been visiting us, and our dad is still staying at my mom's place. Thankfully, my stepmom allows my dad to bring Matt over during the week and on weekends. I deleted her Reddit account weeks ago, and she hasn't mentioned anything about it or seeing any TikToks or posts. Maybe she's too scared to go back on Reddit now. I only deleted her posts because there were just too many comments, and honestly, I didn't want to waste my time deleting them all. I'm not even sure if the comments got deleted along with the account or not. As far as my dad and stepmom's relationship goes, I won't go into too much detail. She's still denying that she did anything wrong, and her thinking towards women is pretty misogynistic. She seems unwilling to change. It's crazy knowing this darker side of her, yet she still acts normal around my dad and Matt. My dad is separated from her now, but he hasn't filed for divorce yet because of financial issues. She said that if they ever got back together, she wouldn't let me back into her house, so my dad's pretty much done with her. I'm not sure what legal arrangement they have for the house, but it looks like my dad plans to leave it to her and find a place to rent. He wants to minimize the stress for Matt, and moving could be tough on a toddler, so it's best for Matt to stay where he's comfortable. Neither I nor my siblings have any issues with that. We just want Matt to have a stable home life. So yeah, that's where things are. It feels like forever, but it's only been a month, and these serious situations always take time. For now, I'm just grateful that Matt can still spend time with us. Update number 2, October 5th, 2024, 1.5 months later. Hello again. I thought I'd give one last update for a while since divorce proceedings take a long time, especially with a young child involved. If my dad and stepmom can agree on things, the divorce could be finalized in 3 months. If not, it might drag on for a year. It all depends on them. This update might be a little boring, but I want to reassure everyone who is worried about me and my siblings. My dad has copies of all the screenshots, including a video showing me accessing her account from her email. I don't know if that will help much with the divorce, considering how gray the internet laws are here, but it's better for him to have it just in case. Stepmom will likely be out of the picture in about 3 months if everything goes smoothly. Thankfully, she still lets Matt come to our mom's house to spend time with us and Dad, which happens almost every day. My dad plans to leave her the house, so Matt can stay in a stable environment, and I've told him not to worry about me staying there on the weekends. I have no interest in living under the same roof as her anymore. The last time I tried talking to my stepmom, I asked if she had any shame for what she did, and she completely ignored me. My sister, Ava, has been the most affected by all of this. She feels like stepmom discriminated against her because of her disability, and honestly, I believe her. Ava has shared stories of subtle behaviors from our stepmom that she brushed off before, but now realizes were small acts of aggression. For example, my brother Josh remembered that stepmom once said, "Your dad's sons come out of the oven just right." At the time, he thought it was a random comment, but looking back, he wonders if there was a double meaning aimed at me and Ava, implying we weren't right. We used to ignore those comments, brushing them off, but now it feels like they had more malice behind them. Stepmom never apologized for anything. She's one of those people who believes the husband should prioritize the wife over the children, which in my opinion is ridiculous. She's clearly jealous of me and Ava, who's jealous of their husband's daughters. She admits now that her only mistake was writing those things on Reddit instead of in a private diary. Maybe in 10 years, she'll see the bigger picture. My dad, understandably, has stopped trying to have mature conversations with her. They're headed for divorce, and I think stepmom saw it coming because she hasn't put up much of a fight. Divorce is long and expensive. So for now, my parents and even my stepmom, who to be fair is a good mom to Matt, are focusing on making things as smooth as possible for him. My dad will likely get joint custody since he works and can't care for Matt full-time. Plus, he doesn't have a home yet. My brother Josh is the least affected by all of this. His attitude is basically, "Dad, she's a jerk, just find another girlfriend." I guess that's how teenage boys handle things, but it's still kind of amusing to me. Now on to the next story, story 2. My mother neglected me, and I went non-contact. Now I met her after 5 years. Hi Reddit. My name is Josh, and I'm 15 years old. Things haven't been going too well for me lately, and I really wish my dad was here. He always knew what to do, what to say to make things better. Growing up, it was always me, my dad, and my mom, Hannah 33F. We were like this perfect little team. We did everything together, family dinners, trips, even simple things like watching TV. My mom used to tell me how much she loved me all the time, calling me her handsome boy and pinching my cheek. I'd act embarrassed, but honestly, I loved it. I loved being part of that team. Then, for years ago, when I had just turned 11, my dad died in a car accident. I was with him when it happened. He was driving me home from rugby practice when a drunk driver hit us from the side. I'll never forget how my dad, his name was Ben, threw his arm across my chest to protect me. I came out with just a few cuts and bruises, but he didn't make it. He was 28. At first, you could tell my dad's death really hit my mom hard. She seemed so lost. But not long after, she met someone else, Andrew, 40M. I tried to be supportive, even though I was just an 11-year-old kid grieving my dad. I couldn't help but wonder how she could move on so quickly, but she seemed sort of happy, so I went along with it. Andrew never really made an effort with me. In fact, it was pretty clear from the start that he didn't like me. About 6 months after we met him, we moved out of our family home and into his big 5-bedroom house. A lot of kids might have thought that was a dream, but to me, it just felt cold and distant. Not long after, my sister, Ava, for F, was born, and that's when I noticed my mom pulling away from me even more. It felt like I was slowly disappearing from her world. Over the past few years, it's like that little team we once had turned into something else. Just my mom, Andrew, and Ava. I was left on the outside looking in. My mom stopped coming to my rugby games, even though she never missed one before. Instead, she'd take Ava shopping or to the park. If it weren't for my grandparents, Jim, 60M, and Sally, 58F, I would have felt completely alone. The final straw for me came about a week ago, right after the last day of school. I came home to an empty house and found a note on the kitchen counter with 100 pounds attached. It just said, "We've gone to Andrew's parents' place for the week. Didn't think you'd want to come. Mom." At first, I wasn't that upset, but then I opened up social media and saw a post from my mom. It was a picture of her, Andrew, and Ava by a pool. The caption read, "My little family." That broke me. It was like my heart shattered right then and there. I don't know what happened next, but I went into autopilot. I texted my grandparents a simple goodbye and wrote on the back of my mom's note, "I just want to be loved." Then I walked to an old viaduct where my dad and I used to go. I sat on the edge, about to jump, when I felt someone grab me and pull me back. "It's all right, boy, I've got you," a voice said. It was my grandpa, Jim. I broke down in his arms. He took me back to their house, and my grandma Sally came rushing out, tears in her eyes. She hugged me and took me to bed, stroking my hair until I fell asleep. For the entire week that they were away, my mom never once checked in on me. When they got back, she came to my grandparents' house to take me home. I overheard the conversation from the other room. "Mom, I come to get him." "Grandpa, I'm surprised you even remember who he is, Hannah." "Mom, what's that supposed to mean?" "Grandma, you know exactly what it means. Your son nearly ended his life while you were off in Greece with your new family. If Ben could see you now." "Mom, stop. I don't need this right now." "Grandma, what happened to you, Hannah? What happened to the woman Ben loved? The mother who would do anything for her son? You left him to feel unloved, and now you think you can just come and take him home?" "Grandpa, look, Hannah, I can't watch my grandson go through this anymore. He's staying with us. I'll come by later to get the rest of his things." "Mom, but..." "Grandma, no buts. He's staying with us." That was the last time I saw or heard from my mom. I think I heard her crying when she left, but maybe that's just what I want to believe. My grandpa went back to get my stuff, and I've been living with my grandparents ever since. It still hurts a lot. I don't know what's going to happen next, but for now, I just have to take it day by day. Update. Hey, I just want to start this post by thanking everyone for their kind words and support over the past couple of weeks. With the help of my grandparents, I've managed to keep any bad thoughts out. They've also had me in counseling, which is helping me process all my feelings. A fair bit has happened since my last post, so I'll try to catch you all up. After a couple of days of silence following her confrontation with my grandparents, my mom had been blowing up my phone with calls and texts. Apparently, she just wanted to talk. But honestly, I didn't want to listen. Since my last post, I turned 16. I've also been accepted to go play rugby and study for 2 years in Auckland. My dad did the same, and it feels amazing to be following in his footsteps. We love our rugby here, but those Kiwis are on another level. Grandma and Grandpa will be moving for the 2 years too. They don't want to be too far away from me, apparently. My grandparents encouraged me to speak to my mom, if not to reconcile, then to get some closure. I agreed and arranged to meet her last week. I asked her to come on her own, and she did. When she arrived, she looked drained. Tears seemed to have stained her cheeks. She came toward me and tried to grab my cheeks, but I pulled away. We both sat down on the couch, and she started the conversation. "Mom, my handsome boy, I'm so sorry." "Me? Don't call me that, Mom." "Mom, that note you left, what makes you think I stopped loving you? Just because we went on a holiday without you? You wouldn't have wanted to come anyway. You've always hated Andrew." "Me? Jesus Christ, Mom, you really don't get it, do you? Since Josh and Lily have been around, have you shown me you love me? When was the last rugby game you came to? When was the last time you came through for me? When was the last time you even acknowledged my existence? And you say I hate Andrew. I haven't had the chance to hate him. He shut me out as soon as he met me." "Mom, you don't understand how hard it's been since your dad died." "Me? I don't understand?" "Yeah, you lost your husband, but both my parents died that day. I hope you do a better job with Lily, because as a mother, you've completely failed me." "Me? Look, I'm not going to argue with you anymore. I brought you here to set you free. You didn't want to be my mother, and now you don't have to be. I'm going to New Zealand next week to take up a rugby scholarship. Your job's done." "Mom, like your dad, I didn't even know you'd applied." "Me? Exactly." I went back to my room, and my mom left shortly after, crying on her way to the car. An hour later, I was in the living room with Grandpa when Andrew burst in, shouting at me for being an ungrateful little prick before taking a cheap shot and hitting me in the gut. My grandfather threw a haymaker at him. Have you ever seen a 60-year-old knock out someone 20 years younger? I have. When Andrew came to, he left without a word, tail between his legs. It's been a week since then, and I've blocked my mom on everything. I'm flying out to New Zealand today. Wish me luck. Update. Hey, everyone. I'm not sure if anyone remembers me from my last post. It's been 5 years, so no surprise if not. I'll link it above to save on any long explanations. Let's jump into it. I, Josh, 21M, moved to New Zealand 5 years ago on a rugby scholarship. Things went well, and by the time I was 18, I managed to secure a professional contract with the Blues in Auckland. During my time in school, I met Hannah, 21F. We fell for each other pretty quickly and have been together ever since. About a year ago, we welcomed our little boy, Matt. My grandparents absolutely adore him, and Hannah's parents came around to it quickly too. But let me tell you, it wasn't easy telling my 6 feet 5 inches Maori father-in-law that I got. Around the time Matt was born, the New Zealand Rugby Union approached me to represent the All Blacks once my residency period was complete. As flattered as I was, I couldn't do it. Since I was a kid, I dreamed of pulling on the red jersey for Wales. My country, my home. To make that dream a reality, I knew I had to return. It didn't take long to find a club back in Wales, and just last month, I got my first call-up for the national squad ahead of the Six Nations tournament. As for my mom, my grandparents have kept me in the loop about her and my younger sister, Lily. They've also given her some updates on me, but I made sure they didn't mention Matt. I know she's tried to reach out quite a bit over the years, but honestly, I don't know if I'm ready to forgive her, or if I ever will be. That's what led me to make this post. Yesterday, as part of my team's community outreach program, we visited some local schools, handing out rugby balls and spending time with the kids. It's easily the most fun part of my job, outside of actually playing rugby. We visited my old primary school, which was surreal. I walked into a Year 4 classroom to the cheers of all the kids. And then, out of nowhere, one little girl sprinted towards me and jumped into my arms, crying. She grabbed onto me with a strength I hadn't felt before and kept calling me Joshi. That's when I realized it was Lily, my little sister. That's what she used to call me. I'll be honest, it was shocking, but in the best way. I was flooded with emotion. Before I left, we were so close, despite everything going on with my mom and her ex. What hurt, though, was explaining to her classmates that I was her brother. Apparently, she'd told them before, but no one believed her. For the rest of the day, Lily refused to leave my side, with her teacher's permission, of course. When the day ended, I had Hannah pick me up from the school. I said my goodbyes to Lily, promising to keep in touch. As I opened the car door, I heard someone call my name. I turned and saw my mom running toward me. I begged Hannah to drive, and as we pulled away, I caught my mom's face fall when she spotted Matt in the back seat. When I got home, for some reason, I unblocked her number. Immediately, her messages flooded in. Every birthday, every Christmas, Dad's birthday, every big rugby game, including my call-up to the national side. I'd be lying if I said I didn't feel conflicted. My grandparents and Hannah have told me they'll support whatever decision I make, but I'm just so confused.